If you would like to watch our shows from the comfort of your home, contact Destination Newry now to get yourself a Roku box. Call us on 028 30 834 010.
Welcome to my emporium of the broadcasting arts. You're so enormously welcome. My guest at the moment is Steve Eccles. Hello, Steve.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very good morning. I'm kind of metamorphosizing into some kind of wise old bat hanging from the roof space and saying, hello, good morning. How are the snakes in your life? This man is one of the greatest physiotherapists that I have ever met. And I say that on the basis of him having sorted my awful back out. Thank you for that.
You're
great.
My pleasure.
But he loves snakes. And, you know, some people put hot stones on your back. He puts...
He doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. I promise you, he does not. He just is a magnificent masseur. Is that the right word? Masseur? Yeah, masseuse is the woman.
Yes, that's correct.
You're the masseur.
Well, yes, I do some massage, but...
Yeah, but I mean, once you get going with the thumbs
mobilization
on the discs,
that's right.
Things are happening.
They are indeed. Hopefully, anyway.
I think so. Where are you taking me this week?
Well, last week we talked a little bit about arthritis.
We did.
And we talked about osteoarthritis, and we sort of mentioned rheumatoid arthritis, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about that.
Which is the real bad one?
Well, I suppose the one you have is the bad one.
Absolutely. But which one do you say, thank God I don't have the other one?
Well, there are hundreds of arthritises.
Wow.
I'm not sure if that's the correct...
Arthritis.
Arthritis, yes. There are hundreds of them.
Yes.
And some of them are short-lived, some of them are very mild, some are very destructive indeed. But I think with modern medicines, a great deal of advance has been made in those. So I don't want to say, I wouldn't want to say... I'm glad I don't have any sort of arthritis.
Of course.
I think at the age of 54 now.
How are you 54?
I am 54. Yeah.
I'm
sure that
man
thank you.
Isn't he? Look at him. Look at the shape of him there. Look.
Stop.
He's nice.
Stop.
I didn't mean to say it again. He's good. He's good.
I'm sure that if you X-rayed some of my joints, there'd be little bits of wear and tear. But that's that comes with the territory. Yeah. But rheumatoid arthritis, I wrote a little bit down. 54, need my glasses to read now.
54 needs his glasses. No massage will do. When I'm with you, baby.
So lovely.
Like the glasses.
Thank you.
Good.
But then those little split level.
Oh
ones
yes,
too.
they're very clever.
Yeah. Okay. So rheumatoid arthritis, it's an autoimmune attack on your own joint system, but it can also affect lungs, heart, blood supply, blood system, etc. So an autoimmune attack is, your body is set up to attack invaders like bacteria or viruses. Sometimes the body wrongly identifies tissue and acts against your own tissues. So, there are many autoimmune diseases. Some of those inflammatory bowel diseases. A lot of, certainly rheumatoid arthritis. Type 1 diabetes is your body attacking cells in your own pancreas. So there are many of those. And I think they're on the rise, and we're not sure why. But hopefully some brilliant person will work this out.
We're possibly not in that kind of optimistic arena, because we are at a stage now when people are saying that antibiotics are no longer effective against the bugs that we get. The virals, okay, but antibiotics too, overuse, blah, blah, blah. And there's some man has offered many, many millions to anyone who can come up with an antibiotic that will remain powerful, because they're saying in 20 years' time, and it started already, antibiotics will not be able to tackle the disease issues which we face.
Yes.
And that diseases which we get rid of now in the twinkling of an eye will be here to torture us.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I mean, this is a little bit off what we were talking about. But yes, I think a lot of people. I remember I remember back in the 70s, a friend of mine, if he had a bit of a
It was
sniff,
an antibiotic.
His mum had a little bottle of antibiotics, and she'd give him one or two.
Yeah.
You know, what happens is that you kill off some bacteria, and the cold is a virus, so it's not affected.
No need for it.
Not affected by it, but you'd kill off some of the bacteria in your body, but others of it may mutate to become resistant to
which is not a good idea.
Whereas if they give you a specific antibiotic and you have a disease or an infection that you really need it for, and you take the full course, you kill off it all. You kill it all off.
Yeah, you do.
And there's none of the survivors can become more powerful.
Look, we were told then it's back to the arthritis.
Yes.
And is arthritis something you can deal with on your bench?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly osteoarthritis is a wear and tear issue. Joints become stiff, and if we can loosen the joints up, we can get rid of a lot of the pain, and we can return function.
And the thing that the joint, if you had a vision of the joint, if you had a model of the joint of a 70-year-old man, and you saw it, you could see the wear and tear in it. If it was sitting on the table, you could see it.
You could, yes.
And then we would say to ourselves, this we have got to manage and live with.
Yes.
And it's in them. So you come and you introduce greater mobility. My knee, for example, at the moment will only go to here.
Yeah.
This knee will go to here.
Right.
But it only goes to here. But you are working on this. And what is it that allows? What change occurs in here as a consequence of your your ministrations to the knee that frees it up?
Okay, that's an interesting point. I think often a small tightness in a joint may inform the brain that there's a new limitation. And sometimes I think that what we do is to go beyond that limitation, move the joint rhythmically in and out of this new range, and then the brain says, "Oh wow, we can move into there."
We're doing all right.
Put
your hand on that for a moment, as I am, because you will feel something. No, it has to be here. Just seriously.
Right.
You're getting something.
And I think that's a little wear and tear underneath your kneecap.
That's wear and tear there.
Yes.
It's a sort of graveliness.
It is. There's a graveliness.
That's there. Okay.
But again, the other thing we would do would be to encourage people to do low impact, high repetition exercise, cycling, swimming, walking to an extent. Also reducing the stress on the joint, and maybe people carrying a little extra weight.
Not a good idea.
If they can reduce that weight, I know that's not an easy thing, but if they can, then it reduces the stress.
I've generated heat there.
Yeah, indeed. We could light a small fire.
No, this I've actually feel the warmth. Yeah. I feel heat in there by doing this.
Right.
And that's as much movement as that has had.
Yes.
In a very long time.
Yes. And you see, if you sat on an exercise bike or indeed got your bike and gently cycled around, you would do hundreds of repetitions.
Yes. Without
realizing it, and slowly develop better
movement.
Well, I think one of the problems with arthritis or osteoarthritis, the wear and tear, is that because we don't move the joint so much, the synovial membrane doesn't produce enough fluid and doesn't nourish the joint as well. So the more movement we get, the healthier the whole thing becomes. Up to a point.
Yeah. But a starting point is starting to realize that we have to, use your phrase, nourish the joint.
Yes.
And that nourishment comes in terms of exercise, low impact,
That's
blah, blah,
right.
blah.
And it all sort of feeds back into itself, doesn't it? Exercising, eating well.
I have this philosophy. I just don't know. People say to me, "Oh, you need to take something for your joints. You take this now, and your joints will be fine." My immediate response to that is nonsense, Because I really feel that if I was going to use this stuff, I ought to have been using it all through my life, this oil or whatever. But I mean, I don't think you... And there was an ad on television for a long time talking about this. They've got it off now. I think it was disingenuous. You say that this stuff that you took went straight into the joint. Well, of course it doesn't go straight into the joint.
It's nonsense. I think if your diet is lager and crisps, then probably taking these supplements is a good idea. But if you have a balanced diet, why do we need all this extra stuff?
Absolutely.
Although having said that, I do have a cod liver oil tablet every day. So
yeah, but if you've been doing it all your life,
yes, well,
like I take 5 tablespoonfuls of pumpkin seed oil with my breakfast every morning, and I've developed my breakfast into a main meal.
Yes.
Now what do I have? I have a small pile of blueberries, I have 1 banana, 1 orange and 1 slice of pineapple, a pint of water, my pumpkin seed oil.
Right.
That's it. But I need to say to myself, and this is important for you folk out there too, I need to make a conscious decision that I'm going to give myself the time to do that and to take that.
Yes.
And not to be jumping out of bed, showering, ironing my shirt, getting dressed, wow, and out through the door.
Right,
you need to prioritize yourself as well. You need to nurture yourself as well as your joints.
Yeah, you know, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, what kind of people are coming to you at the moment? What are your main worries with folk?
Oh, the usual. I think, let me see. I had an unfortunate guy who's a fit, healthy, middle-aged guy, and he did something to his knee, and he's torn the cartilage in it.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The little half-moon shaped cartilage. So that'll need an operation. There's nothing I can do about that.
Nothing you can do there.
But as long as we can diagnose it and get him sent off quickly and get it all sorted out.
And sometimes people have this thing. I was told by a silly fellow once that people used to hit it with a Bible to put it down. It was a lump that came here.
Yes.
A ganglion. A ganglion.
Yes. I think a little sort of subdermal cyst. A little cyst underneath. And yes, I've seen that as well.
Just bang.
I think any large book will do.
The thing awfully well. But it would be done with a certain style if one used the Holy Book.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But I got the sense that occurred after I damaged the rotator cuff and fell to the ground, damaged it, and something seems to have been extruded from the joint.
Yes, well, I'm not sure. I think with an already compromised joint, I'm not sure whacking it with heavy objects
would be a good idea.
Is the best.
I
think your doctor
stay clear
probably
of that. Yeah.
Yes, I did. I had a colleague once who had a subdermal cyst on his head, and he had his wife hit it with the Bible, and she knocked him clean off the chair, and he woke up about 2 minutes later. It probably wouldn't do him any harm.
I just want to tell you, I would not ever take that chance with my dear former wife. I wouldn't take that chance. Because she said, close your eyes, darling, slip the Bible to the one side and get the saucepan to the other side.
Right, can we return to rheumatoid arthritis?
I'm intent. Totally, this is your gig, baby.
Okay, all right. So we have an autoimmune disease that attacks the joints. Unlike wear and tear arthritis, this is an active arthritis. So your joint becomes swollen and red and angry and flares up. So if you were to wake up one day and have a number of joints swollen, and you hadn't fallen off your skateboard the day before, morning stiffness, symmetrical arthritis, both knees, both wrists, hands, feet, then something's going on. Something's going on. It's not like, I've been jogging all my life and I've got a bit of my knee sort of has become progressively achier over the last 4 or 5 years. That's not what we're talking about. This is waking up and having something going on. Then go and see your doctor. There are numerous arthritises. There are things like post-viral arthritis, which is very like rheumatoid, but it goes away on its own. So you go to your doctor and say something's going on. It's not normal for wrists to swell up.
No.
For no reason.
And would
And so what he would do was would take a blood test, see if you had rheumatoid factor, see if your system was fighting an infection, see if a number of other things were going on, take an X-ray, and then from that have a good idea. Then to eradicate the idea that maybe this is one of those reactive arthritises or a post-viral thing, wait for a few months to make sure that it doesn't go away on its own. But they would start treating you with lighter drugs immediately, and then if it persists, then the bigger guns would come out.
I have to say that I shiver to the very soul of my being at the thought of taking any drugs.
Yes.
Because I've never done it in my life.
Well,
and I just
yes.
dislike the notion of it.
Well, okay. I think you're right. I think that if every time you've got a bit of a headache from not drinking enough water, and you take a load of drugs to deal with that, that's probably not a good thing. But in certain diseases, you have to weigh up the good and the bad, and that's something that the patient must do for themselves with a good understanding. But for example, there's an arthritis called psoriatic arthritis, which is related to psoriasis.
Oh, yes.
You know the skin lesions.
Yes.
And it causes terrible damage to the hands. That they become very thick and the fingers aren't terribly functional anymore. Nowadays, with the drug treatments they have, that doesn't happen anymore, or shouldn't happen anymore. So would you, for maybe a little bit of I'm not sure what the drugs what harmful side effects there are, but for a year or two of your life at the very end, would you like to have your hands functional? I'm not saying you should, yes or no. But I mean that's
part of the consideration.
That's definitely a question that you need to ask yourself. So I think saying no to drugs is.
I think I'm privileged in that I've never in my life had to take drugs. I'm blessed, The worst thing that has happened to me, the rotator cuff and the constancy of mid-back pain, which you have dealt with and helped greatly. And those are the two things, and it was the physical exercises that you recommended that made the difference, So I've been lucky. I've been very, very fortunate indeed.
Absolutely, good.
But I suppose the thought that always strikes a person, if they've got lower back pain, could it be skeletally related, or could it be a cancer? Are you in a position when you do the feeling and when you do the examination?
Well, I think it's more in the history. I think that we would discuss with the patient when the pain occurs. We don't like to hear that something is constant. I like to hear that yes, it's worse when I walk, or when I bend over, or after I've been sitting. And maybe it's allowed to ache a little bit all the way through, but if it's constant, no matter what you do, the pain doesn't really change. And it's increasing. It's not something you really want to hear.
And it would increase if it were a cancerous thing. There would be a progression of pain.
Yes, I think so. But that doesn't mean that everybody who's got a constant back pain has cancer. But it's definitely. But it would be something that you would it would make you send them to the doctor and maybe get an X-ray to rule things out first.
So all things considered, there's a lot of wisdom in making a friend of your physiotherapist.
Absolutely.
Seriously. Because this guy is a whistleblower. If he finds something when he's massaging your neck or your back or your knee, he can pick up other things that are serious and give you a heads up on it, and you can go and do it.
Yes.
And I think people are wising up to nurturing their parts, and that's very important.
And I think it. Well, the theme of this morning, or at least your last conversation on this, is looking after yourself, clearing up little problems before they become bigger problems and things.
Okay.
I hear you've got yourself a wetsuit. the ladies of Warren Point are in for a treat.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Indeed, I
yeah.
am.
So
It's a very thin wetsuit as well.
excellent.
But when I first used a wetsuit, I was a diver, and we used to buy the sheets of neoprene.
Right.
We bought the sheets of neoprene, and we stuck them together, but joined them together.
Yes.
And then we sewed them,
Wow.
and that made our wetsuits for our diving.
Wow. And did you have the beaver tail?
No, it wasn't quite that. No, you mean the hat job?
No, the beaver tail.
Oh yeah,
it
just
used to
down
be
under
like
and
a-
you
like
flicked
a-
it up
yeah,
here,
yeah.
and you put
Yes.
yes, of course we did. I was beyond the stage of the twin demand valve. You know that Hans and Lottie Haas had. They pulled it over the head, and the
Yes.
tubes went out. We were beyond that, but we made our own wetsuits in those days. But now what I've done, because I do want to swim, I love swimming.
Yes. yes.
Basically, you could drop me in the middle of Carlingford Loch and leave me there.
Right.
And I would-
and
I
I
would-
think
I would-
many people have thought about it.
I'm quite sure, without a doubt. But leave me there. But which they wouldn't like, you see, is that I would be back in again within a couple
Right.
of hours. So I am a survival swimmer.
Yes,
I'm
good.
not a speed swimmer.
Okay, yeah,
But I do want to be in the water for maybe an hour at a time,
Yes.
and just enjoy that.
Yes.
Won't do swimming pool anymore because it's so boring. I don't like it. And I don't like the gregarious sort of rattlings and noises of swimming pools. I like the peace of contemplation, the sea and that, and see the mountain looking
Yes.
down at me kind of
Yes.
thing. Like that. So I've got that. The other thing I'm getting, my boots are very, very good for hill walking, but I'm doing less hill walking because of my problem with my ankle. And this is all because I'm 70 now, you see, abuse over the years. But I'm getting a proper pair of walking shoes, which
Good,
will take
good.
my orthotic in there to
Yes,
make
absolutely
it a
good,
good
good.
idea. So I'm going to be a new man.
Excellent, excellent.
And I might even present the program in my new wetsuit next week.
Lovely, lovely.
No, I'm only
For
joking.
for a thrill.
I shan't do that.
I in San Francisco, a colleague of mine, he was arriving at the airport, and I volunteered to pick him up, and so but before I went to that, I went surfing
Oh yes.
with a friend of mine, and then I realized that I was going to come home and change, but we
You were a
spent
bit
too
late.
long there, and my wife had gone out
Yeah.
to a local bar with some friends, and I couldn't get back in, so I had to go into the bar in my wetsuit. and then by the time I found where she was,
dear.
it was too late, and I had to drive to San Francisco Airport in my wetsuit.
Tell the people where they can find you.
Okay, well, you found me on the Old Warren Point Road, number 47, and you can also find me at our website, EcclesPhysiotherapy.com. That's it.
God bless you.
And you too.
Go well.
You too.
Take care.
Thank you.
Music maestro,
Thank you.
please.